Good morning. Last week we talked about God sees, God hears, and God provides. Now I want to take us back to the previous subject. Not what we talked about last week, but what we spoke about the week before. Sin. Sin. Why? Because it's an important subject and it's something that impacts our daily lives. I want to look at Ezra for a moment. Ezra in the Old Testament. When Ezra learned that many of the Israelites had married heathen women, unbelieving women, a practice that was strictly forbidden by God, he tore his garments and he pulled his hair from his head and he pulled the beard from his face, and then he fell to his knees and he wept as he prayed. And he prayed this, or something similar, from Psalm 32 verse 10. Many sorrows shall be to the wicked. So join me today as we discuss the heartbreak of sin. Sin is a terrible thing. It offends the Lord. It grieves spiritually sensitive people, and it brings untold misery to the transgressor, to the person who is guilty. In Ezra's instance, the men of Israel had sent their foreign wives and their children back to their homelands, which must have caused a great amount of pain because they had taken them as wives. They had created children. But this drastic step was necessary to keep the nation from spiritual disaster. Now, I've responded to countless people who were deeply hurt because someone close to them had fallen into sin. And this was breaking up the family. Answering them reminds me how much pain disobedience causes. And it impresses on me that sin is the ultimate cause of much of the anguish, all of the anguish perhaps, in our world. And although suffering is unavoidable because of sin's effect on every single one of us, many people intensify their miseries by recklessly plunging into immorality. We need a deeper sense of grief over our sin and a greater burden for people who are caught in its trap. The heartbreak of sin is far too devastating for you and I to underestimate. If you want to know more about the situation during Ezra's day, you can go to Ezra chapter 9, verse 1, and read all the way through to Ezra chapter 10, verse 1. A final word. What are the greatest of all evils is indifference toward all evil. Think about it. And I'll join you next week as we continue to learn together.